start. Should be counting up.
Counting.
All right, counting. Okay, get this thing back on the charger. So we've got another barrel to cut. I've got this to build. Got a slip to mix. What's that?
First barrel is cut.
Yep.
You want,
Yeah, I want to knock this out.
okay, do this first and then you'll record me cutting the barrel.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so we've put up our wall for a 4-inch air gap. We've got our wonder board behind inside here. And this is just floating. It's not attached to the wall or the wonder board at all. It could fall down. We've got the verticals with our screws above where our bench will be. So we can undo them all, pull them out, and then get the plywoods out once the bench is done. So that gives us our 4-inch air gap to the back. Again, and one thing about the stainless is you obviously don't need stainless for something like this. All this stuff can be reclaimed. In fact, all these 2x4s are reclaimed. These two panels were on site, so they didn't have to be bought. The stainless is stuff I had from an old job where a duck hunting lodge was underwater for 3 months. So I reclaimed it from there. So it was just a handy thing to throw up to protect the wall that I had. And that's that. So we are now going to build this riser. And I forgot, I wanted the long sleeves on, which now I can't put on with my GoPro unless I'm really, really careful.
Very good.
So again, we've talked about the ceramic fiber material, the blanket and the board, and I said it was similar to fiberglass insulation. Another thing, way it's similar is if you've dealt with fiberglass information and got the itchies on your arms and on your hands from the fibers, this is just like that, but worse. So this DuraBoard, this 1-inch thick DuraBoard costs right about, it's just over $100 for a 3x4 sheet. So there's a sheet over there in the box, a full sheet. It's going to go under the core. And then there's a little scrap left of what I was cutting off to make the riser out of. So it's pretty amazing stuff for $100 a sheet. This 1-inch blanket runs, I think $1.05 a square foot. And the 1/2-inch blanket, which we have a roll of here, this 1/2-inch blanket runs, I think 80 or 85 cents a square foot. So this is a bit less value. Like if you had to wrap twice to get an inch, then you'd want to buy inch.
Yeah. The shipping is kind of an issue with that stuff, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the freighting. We buy it. This is bought through a company called Western Industrial Ceramics, and maybe there's other vendors, but because of the product, at least if you're getting the board, it has to be freighted because it's too fragile to ship UPS. So it has to be put on a pallet, and freight can be very expensive. So if you're just getting blankets, those boxes can be UPS'd, which will be a big savings. All right, we are going to rotate this onto this side, keeping this blanket on top so it doesn't fall onto us. I think it'll basically hold its shape.
Tilt it down.
Yeah, let's get a 2x. And we just do one on each end's fine. Okay. And then don't want to move it too much or it might collapse in. So basically I'm going to grab a full length one, I'll put here, and then we'll put a little piece here, and then another one. We'll try and we try and manipulate, like pull in, so hopefully there's not gaps, and then we'll put another one on. Maybe we can only put 3 before it wants to fall, maybe a 4th one going, and then we'll each grab an end, rotate it, This one, I don't really care if this one stays in place. It might be better to move it so it doesn't get damaged. But that's just our place marker for putting the first board at the right spot.
Right.
So this will take, and the compromised ones, the 3 compromised ones, we want those like basically on this bottom area. So we might put, we'll have a good one here, then we'll put a compromised one and the next 2.
Yeah.
So they're having gravity help them.
Yeah, the most support.
And, oh yeah, and we're going to be caulking these. I guess we should do a little test run to make sure this is going to work. My little jig set up to help hold this in place. So there should be a little bit left over like that because we had, those little legs.
Yes, we did.
And we should have some left C-overs. Let me roughly. And they almost have kind of vertical streaks, almost like corrugated cardboard. I don't know that they are true to being like perpendicular or plumb. It's roughly 4 inches. A little under 4. A little under 4. I'll take this end in here. Actually, how big were those? Good enough. And how are we doing on the bottom? I guess the bottom needs to be fairly,
Yeah.
I mean, of course I can slice it. It'd probably be easier to slice it. I mean, once it's together and we've got the metal on it, I can trim.
Yeah.
We've got a little extra on each end right now, which I like. We'll just trim it as we need to. And then, so before I use the broken ones, I'm going to go ahead and set 2 more in, just to see how it feels with us putting it together and if this is going to work. Oh, I guess this needs to, this needs to slide up. Like that. Yep. Something like that. There's such a bow in them, they're bowed like this.
Yeah.
I might need to crack them all. Just so the bow, it'd be half the bow. If they were all cracked in the middle, it'd be half the bow between here and here.
To be taken care of before strapping it and tightening it with the straps?
Well, that's really a question of how does this stuff act? Let's see. For a neat appearance, smooth the bead with the trailer. It can be dried at room temperature. Accelerated drying will occur at temperatures above 115. So it really depends on how long this takes to skin over or start getting hard. Because if it...
What's your dry time?
It doesn't say. But it says it can dry at room temperature, but accelerated will be above 115.
I bet it's got...
Which means we probably have the time to work with it. Did I bring the caulk gun in? Do we even have the caulk gun, or is it still at the trailer?
We should have it. It wasn't at the trailer because I had to use a different one yesterday.
Okay. Hopefully it's in the truck.